At the moment, my room is full of half-packed stuff because I am moving out in 4 weeks today as of filming this. So everything's a bit hectic, which means I have to find really innovative places to film so that I don't have loads of crap everywhere. So I'm filming in front of my chaise lounge with loads that's covered in teddy bears. Great. Today I am reviewing Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I ordinarily hold the programme up and sing a bit of the music, but as this is a play and not a musical, I won't be doing that today. I don't know where to start on this. I saw this at the end of January, and it is one of the best pieces of theatre I have ever seen in my lifetime, and I pride myself on having seen a massive amount of theatre, and a lot of theatre that's stylistic and natural and everything in between. I try and see as much as I possibly can, but this was incredible. The story is based on the book by Mark Haddon, which I read last year, I believe, and yes, it was last summer, and I absolutely fell in love with the book. It's about a boy called Christopher who is 15 so many months and so many days, and he has got Asperger's syndrome, which is a syndrome which makes his way of understanding the world very specific, and it's very, very complex. I went to school with quite some autistic people, so I understand autism, and Asperger's, I believe, is the very far end of the autistic spectrum, but it's also slightly different. I'm not quite sure, but that's not what I'm here to talk about. But it was very, very interesting learning about Asperger's, because the only other representation of Asperger's I've seen is Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory. Essentially, the plot follows Christopher when he discovers his neighbour's dog has been killed with a garden fork, and the whole world that ensues from that. So it's fascinating the way that they share information, because things are sort of shared with the audience that, I don't want to say ordinary people, I'm going to use quotes here, regular people, generally people would understand, and so we as an audience understand what's going on, but Christopher doesn't yet, because he doesn't get the subtleties of human speech. I absolutely adored the way this was done. It was so true to the book, which I think for something that's about somebody being so structured and regulated and formulated, it's really important that the play does that with the book, and I think it's the most true adaptation I've ever come across, and for that I think it was brilliant in that sense, because it needed to be for this particular type of show. As our Christopher, we had Thomas Dennis, who I believe is understudy Christopher, and he did an incredible job. I believed it wholeheartedly, which when you're portraying somebody with a learning disability or any form of disability or any form of minority, it's really, really important that you do so truthfully, and you put your heart and soul into making sure that it is an honest portrayal. It's so important, and I thought it was done absolutely beautifully and respectfully. All of the actors were fantastic. This is very much an ensemble cast, which is quite unusual in the sense that it's in the true sense of the word ensemble. Everybody is involved in kind of everything to an extent, of course, and then people come out and play various characters, but they're also involved in lots of other things, which is unusual actually in the modern sort of more popular plays. But this is the National Theatre, it is the National Theatre production, and the National are very good at working with ensemble and bringing out things that are lesser known in the mainstream, I would say. Mainstream theatre is more kind of straight-laced, naturalistic for the most part, but the National are very good at flipping that on its head. Now, looking at this brochure, I believe this one is, you can see the kind of dots and everything, and you can see the outline of the dog. This front cover is pretty much exactly, minus the dog, is pretty much exactly what the set looks like. The set is in lots of little squares on the floor and the 3 walls. Obviously we are the 4th wall. But I thought it was beautifully done. I think the set was a huge portion of what made this show work so beautifully. The way it was done was incredible. There were so many compartments and things coming out of the floor and the walls, and the way they could draw with chalk on the walls and the floor. It was just so beautifully put together, and exactly how, well, it's a physical representation of Christopher's mind, I would say. It's just beautifully done. With that, I feel like the physical theatre elements and the way that they move Christopher around the stage as a cast is really intelligently done, and I absolutely adore watching physical theatre. It's not something I personally enjoy being part of as an actor, but as a viewer I adore it. I think when it's done well, it's just phenomenal, and this worked beautifully and harmoniously with the set and the lighting and the sound. All of that came together gloriously. Now, this starts off as a story about this dog that's been killed, which is a very dramatic start, and that's what kind of starts the whole thing. But the play then follows Christopher really as a character, and that's what makes this so wonderful. Is it's centrally about Christopher and his life and how he lives his life and what that means in terms of the rest of the world. I love how self-aware this show is. At one point, one of the characters literally engaged the audience in terms of breaking the 4th wall and talking sort of about the audience, which was really funny, and it came at a perfect time. It just worked harmoniously with the rest of the show. I'm trying to talk about it without giving any spoilers, because if you haven't read the book or seen the show, I don't want to spoil anything for you, because the story that you follow is so engaging that I would hate to kind of give away anything. Having said that, reading the book first didn't destroy my enjoyment of the show in any way. It was still fantastic, and I loved remembering bits that were about to come and seeing how they did it. I thought it was beautifully done. There's 2 more things I want to talk about, and they are both mathsy things. First of all, Christopher in the book and the show loves prime numbers, and it's not featured so heavily in the show because obviously while it's very true to the book, they still have to cut out things because it's a book and it doesn't equate. So they made every prime number seat in the theatre have a sign on it saying prime number, which was really awesome and just felt that little bit more engrossing, I think, in that sense. Also, the other thing I wanted to mention is that there's a kind of encore moment, which to me sold me on this being one of my favourite pieces of theatre ever, because it was so engaging and brilliant as an audience that 1,000 or so people, however many people this theatre holds, stayed and watched, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but watched a boy talk about something that nobody would be interested in regardless. Like, a few people might have stayed if it had been just generally anything else, but to be that engaging that we all cared about this thing that we would otherwise wouldn't give a toss about, that says something. So yes, that is everything for my review of Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I would highly recommend you go and see it. I do believe it is finishing in June. It's possible it's going on a UK tour, but it's definitely finishing in the West End in June, and I would recommend you catch it before it goes because it's incredible. And that is everything. Thank you very much for watching. I will have 3 more theatre reviews coming to you, and then the theatre reviews will be ending for a few months because I will be doing my own theatre shows and, well, not theatre, I'll be performing at holiday camp. But when you're performing, you don't get to see theatre. There's a couple of things I'm going to try and see, but we'll see. We'll see. I might spread the other theatre reviews out. Whatever. Thanks for watching. Bye!